By God, it might have taken a while. You know, this man is very busy. And then I, of course, had to fuck around and go back home and visit family in the middle of all this. But I am here with the man that I say to everybody that is probably the very best American deathmatch wrestler of all time. And that is John Wayne Murdoch.
I'm glad we made this work. Yeah, it's been a process to get here. Shit happens. Busy kids, life,
Oh,
all that
yeah, man.
happening at once. But yeah, we're here now. We're gonna make it happen. So yeah, I'm
Yes,
happy to
sir.
be here.
And it is a huge honor for me, man. I was trying to think earlier about like the first time I ever saw you, and I think it had to have been like 2014 ish, and it had to have been IWA Mid South, and it definitely was a torrent that I had downloaded very illegally, and I want to say it was like you against Ian Rotten or something, and in it was definitely before Nick Gage because I remember when you had your Gage match in 2015, King of the Death, and it seemed like on the internet you blew up, and for me I was like, oh, I remember that name. So you've spoken ad nauseum about IWA Mid South. All I really wanted to ask about it was like, what do you think made it so special, even all these years later? Because like you go through the history, and there's a lot of killers, including yourself, that have went through those doors.
I think it was. I think it's the. There was the locker room. It's the. You knew what you were getting into with Ian. You knew the reputation. You knew, hey, this show might be canceled before it even happens. You might show up and there's 15 people there and you're not going to get paid. Like you knew what you were going to get into, but you also knew that there were people that would buy these DVDs religiously or go out of their way to get an IWA DVD. So you'd still go out there and work hard despite all that. And I think it trained a lot of guys like me to go out there and no matter what, no matter the crowd, no matter the bullshit before the bell rings, just to go out there and fucking kill it, no matter what. So I think that's why the IWA show, everybody was there working together, even if they all hated Ian or Ian was working against him or do stupid shit. Everybody still showed up to work and to put on a good show because it was IWA. At times, I think the boys cared more about IWA Mid South than sometimes Ian did, with sometimes the shit he would do or the actions he would do.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. And of course, guys like, you, Reed Bentley, Nick Manawa, Jim Fanning, guys that were kind of like the bullet takers for him for a long time. And I don't think you're off at all about like, I think that the boys and the locker room and definitely the fans too, like I think IWA Mid South fans are a rare breed. They've dealt with a lot of shit one way or the other. So it is unique and interesting to think about. And you all of y'all that went on and did something, you've excelled to the point that you're all top in the business. It's like you, Mance Warner, like the list goes on of so many people that again I could keep listing, but it's like everybody, it feels like, at one little pocket of time in the 2000s and 2010s. So I definitely wanted to get you to talk about that. I know that was a huge part of your career.
No, definitely. I think just you learn things at IWA, whether it's good or bad, that helps you on this journey. And I think, unfortunately, even though Ian did some bad shit, and I'm not condoning when I say this, I know it's going to get clipped wrong or people are going to say different. But I do not condone anything that Ian's done to fans or anything like that. But I think that for the kids coming up now, not having IWA is a travesty because they're not going to have that same experience, good or bad, that we had.
I agree. And I think it also like kind of, it's not uh similar, but there is a certain level of like, when you and I had talked in DMs about just Southern wrestling and like the Memphis way of doing shit. And it goes with that as well. It's like just learning how to work and being in front of a different crowd, like, and crowds, more importantly, with you guys in IWA Mid South, the same crowds every week. That's a whole different animal, that I don't think people today that haven't lived that even understand.
Not only that, Ian was trying to run a Thursday and a Saturday. So you were doing death matches, twice a week. And yeah, you just learn how to just it made it toughened me up. It calloused my body to get used to this. That's why I did 90 something in 1 year. Like I have the most death matches in 1 year. And that's probably not even all of them that got counted. It's because of my time at IWA.
Oh, without a doubt. And you were forged in the flame. And I feel like that's why, like, when you went to Game Changer, which is, what was that, like 2015, 2016?
Something like that. 2017, maybe. Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you were ready to go. And it's very interesting because, I feel like there were two different kind of fans at that time. Game Changer obviously be very new, of people like myself that had watched the IWA stuff from you and been like, "Oh yeah, he's ready to go." And then I can imagine like the CZW lapsed fans that made up the early GCW fans, and arguably even to this day are probably like, "Who the fuck is this dude?" And of course, Danny DeMonto has famously said, like, "Oh yeah, once I saw that Nick Gage match, the 2 out of 3 doors, I was like, we need that fucking guy and Nick." So, do you think that kind of was more like, I'm sure the nerves were crazy, but like you said, you probably were just like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, you've already dealt with Ian's bullshit. You've had everything you can possibly thrown at you at an IWA show. So yeah, you're ready to just fucking run at the world with both fists up.
Yeah. And I mean, you fucking killed it, right? Like, I feel like you have in many ways multiple careers almost, and it's like there's the Game Changer era, and then of course there's the split into No Holds Barred, and like you were the ace of No Holds Barred, and I would still argue probably to this day I would say you are still the ace in many ways, but you've even said yourself that you look at it more differently now of kind of getting the next generation ready, and I think you've done an incredible job in a place a lot like uh IWA, in my opinion, different flavor, obviously, not as toxic, would be down there in TWE in Chattanooga. And you had your match with Big Dave years or night zero. Dude, that felt like an anointment right there.
Oh yeah, he killed it. He stepped up, and yeah, I definitely have taken more of a like. I'm still like I still consider myself like one of the top deathmatch wrestlers in the world. And I know I say all I'm the best deathmatch wrestler in the world, and it's a gimmick. It's part of the persona. You've got to talk. You got to hype yourself up. But honestly, I do believe I'm top five uh, deathmatch wrestlers right now. Not just because of the bell to bell shit, but I'm always willing to help. I've never turned somebody away in my inbox for advice at the shows, wrestling people that have never, like, I've wrestled so many people that's never even touched glass and got them through it in one piece. And so I take pride in that. So, like, helping and making sure that everybody's ready for when guys like me and Schlack and Cologne and Eric Ryan, when we're gone, there's got to be somebody that picks this up and runs with it.
Yeah, and I mean, God, I feel like 2026 feels very similar to like how 2022 felt, as I've kind of watched along, in terms of there's definitely a very clear new crop. It's Jameson, it's Big Dave, it's Anakin, um, Nino, of course. I mean, Sicko. There's a ton of these guys. I mean, even though he's older, he's not been in the business very long. Nathan Mowry, another guy that I think you absolutely anointed as well not long ago. So it's really cool to see that from someone where you're at, because like you said, I mean, I obviously said I think that you're probably the best American deathmatch guy in right now. You're one of the greatest of all time. I think Takeda is probably number one in the world personally, and you've wrestled him 400 times, million times, and I think you probably agree he's pretty great.
Oh yeah, he's a fucking machine. There's no
Oh,
there's nobody that you get in there with that you're like, fuck, this is gonna be rough. And but it's fun, but it's definitely a rough night at the office. there's no slowing him down. I've never seen him hurt. I've never seen him complain. Uh, just a top notch guy all the way around.
Yeah, and recently I watched a battle arts inspired show that Fuminori Abe did, and he's on it, and I'm thinking like Takeda in this. Oh no, little did I know he was a shooter, so he just like kills it in that too. It's like my God, uh leave a little talent for the rest of the fucking business. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, he can do
unbelievable.
it all.
God. But yeah, I think where would you rank sort of this new crop of deathmatch performers? Because I think they're right up there with recent eras of new blood. I mean, everyone sort of has a very similar spirit to like what you guys had back in the day.
It's really hard to tell right now. I think I think everything's still being shaken out as far as where everybody's going to land. For me right now, more I think he's got a little more seasoning deathmatch wise, and it's the reason my answer is going to be Sicko. But I just think he's been doing death matches just a little bit longer than the rest of the crew. And when I had my match with Sicko, like that really got him on the map, and even a promoter hit me up and was like, "Fuck off for making Sicko a thing. I wanted to pull him out of nowhere for this, or I wanted to announce him." Like that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like my job's being done correctly. But yeah, I think Sicko, Nino's right there. I think Anakin Murphy, when he gets a few more death matches under his belt and he gets more confidence and hitting the tubes and making sure everything breaks and just being more confident, I think he's going to be right up there. I think this is going to be a very hot race for who shakes out to be number one. You got Vipress in there that, she says she's not a deathmatch wrestler, but she does it. And I think she's going to find that she does have a spot for it, and she might sink her teeth in a little more. Who knows? You have Danger that's fucking up there. Yeah, it's very hard to say number one, but I have to go with Sicko just because I believe he's had more death matches under his belt right now. So he's a little more seasoned in situations.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Definitely. When I think of Sicko versus the rest of the field, it's definitely all death match for him versus everybody else. Sort of has a more mixed bag, and it comes with time. You never know. There was a time when John Wayne Murdoch wasn't doing death matches either, so it's interesting to think about. But
I know.
we
Well,
have,
I was gonna say I will add that I think the Nino and Sicko rise, especially Nino taking over the way he did. I think this all puts pressure, and I want to see what Danger does. I want to see where Mr. Danger does he say, "Well, I've done everything I wanted to, and it's done," or does he fucking continue to do it and still rise to the top? Because it was Mr. Danger, the hot new thing. And then you sprinkle in Sicko, and you now got Anakin Murphy, you now got fucking Vipress, Nino. So now Mr. Danger isn't the shiny new object. So I look to him to step up, and go, yo, I'm a fucking show out and claim my spot, or get comfortable in where he's at. So
yeah,
and
and I
that's not shitting on me. I think, like I had some of the best matches of a non-death match guy I've ever had were with Mr. Danger. He gets it. But fucking yeah, I want to see what he does because there's a lot of new competition in his way to where a year ago or so there wasn't.
Yeah, and I mean it makes a big difference. You've even gone on record of saying that having guys like, a Matt Tremont and like those people from that era rising while you rose made you better, and that is
Oh,
a huge thing, man. I mean, people really have to give that credit. And I think a big reason why a lot of the TWE action, sort of like Southeast names are starting to kind of come into the forefront of the conversation is because they all are making each other better and they're seeking help. And people like yourself and the Reverend Dan Wilson and all these veterans are actually being asked help and being listened to somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that another place very similar to that would be NHB, and of course, you guys are going to have your 100th show this Saturday, and of course, it wouldn't be right if it wasn't you and Eric Ryan doing Last Man Standing. And I mean, I don't have to wonder. You guys are going to kill each other here, and I feel like this has kind of been the NHB feud for you.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the story that we've went back to quite a few times. And I know some people are like, how many more times can we see this match? But this is the story. Like, everybody complains that there's not many stories in deathmatch wrestling or long-term stories, but we've literally told this from volume one, and we've made it fresh. We haven't beat it to death. There's been little hints here and there. There's been little things we've done. Even the thing we did in Chattanooga to build this. This has all been like, I'm not gonna sit here and say as soon as the bell rang at NHB one that we knew that this is where we'd be today. But along this journey, like, we were like, if we can make it to NHB 100, this has to be direction we're going. And at some point, maybe around the Iron Man match me and Eric had, like, we said it, like, no matter where we're at, no matter if we're both out of the company or whatever, if the fucking company makes it to NHB 100, it has to be me and Eric Ryan. So, like, this has been a consistent story. It's not something that we just pick up to draw a crowd or to pop a house or get a little buzz. This is, we've not veered from the direction that we've wanted with this at all. So I think that's great. With in wrestling, especially, people sometimes can't make a show that, like, nothing that me and Eric have lined up to keep this on the road has missed. So that's an achievement.
It's almost unparalleled in this era too to have that go through, because I mean, for people that don't know, NHB1 was January of 2020. So the fact that you guys have stuck to this and throughout the time, and again, you had a falling out with Danny at one point, and like there's been a lot of shakeup and a lot of things happen, and obviously life happens. A whole fucking pandemic happened. So
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
really a
yeah,
testament.
yeah. It's been fucking nuts. Yeah, the fallout with Danny was one of those things that I take some blame, and I think Danny takes some blame as well. Of, like, I wanted more money than what was logically in the company. I had a gripe of, like, this is where I see this is everything I've done. Like, I want to be paid, but if the money's not there, like, I'm just killing the company that I love. So, like, I stepped back. I took some time away, really recentered fucking who I was. I had some personal demons that I had to deal with, dealt with those, renegotiated money, come to a term that both worked for me and the company. And yeah, we've been great ever since. And again, I don't think if we'd have never patched things up, I think even if the company would have made it to NHB 100 and Danny had hit me up, hey, like, I know we don't see eye to eye, but this NHB 100, are we going to still do this? That probably would have fixed things, and I probably would have come back then just so this could have happened, because we wanted to get to 100. We've got to. This is the match that we wanted to deliver. We're going to deliver it. So, and who knows? And I don't think this is going to be the end of me. I don't think anybody watching this is going to think this is the end of me and Eric. Uh, I I don't think NHB 200, 300, 251. I think that
Right.
as long as me and Eric are walking, that I don't see an end right now. And that's good. It's not dead. It's not boring. We both are fucking at the top of our games. We get better each match. So I'm willing to tell this story as long as the people are in it.
And I mean, I say it a lot. You know, Eric Ryan is a guy that is, for the longest time, I would say, like the wrestler's favorite deathmatch guy, right? Like you guys really appreciated him before the fans, I think, fully appreciated him. And I think, you know, for a while that was probably you as well. And I love to see that both of you have gotten to the point where you're both living legends of this shit. It's just facts, right? Like you guys have been doing it long enough. You do it at a high level. I mean, anybody, and you guys just mentioned, or you just mentioned that you guys did a fucking 60-minute Iron Man match, death match. Like
It's, yeah, it was insane. And
insane.
I think you pointed on something that's a good topic for newer guys coming in is being the wrestler's wrestler, being like it's so much easier to get bookings or repeat bookings if the guy you're wrestling wants to wrestle you again. Like it makes no, it does nothing for you to have a shit attitude or do poor business. And the guy you wrestle is like, I don't want to wrestle this guy ever fucking again. And you just fuck yourself. I always show up no matter when, like I was at my worst cocaine addiction. I never not showed up in the ring. I always kept people safe. There was times I didn't know fucking I was fucking gone, but I showed up. And wrestlers want to wrestle me because you know if you wrestle me, one, it's going to be good. Two, you're going to be able to wrestle tomorrow. You might be a little banged up, cut up because you can't avoid that, but you're going to fucking be able to wrestle because I'm not going to hurt you. So being a wrestler's wrestler, being one of the boys' favorite, or that goes a long way. And yes, you need the fans too, and the fan support matters. But if the guys don't fucking like you, then you're dead in the water.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I hear about you is that like everyone enjoys working you. I think Jameson Shook was like the first guy that I interviewed that was like, oh, dude, John Wayne Murdoch, the man, like locker room guy. Everybody loves him. Good dude. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense. And of course, you know, I know that you broke in Tennessee, old school as all hell. Tony Falk. You told me how like Tommy Rich helped you learn how to sell. I mean, talk about some of that because I feel like that explains you a lot more than I think a lot of people realize about just you as a deathmatch guy.
Yeah, I used to go to the fairgrounds with my dad when I was little and watch guys like Tommy Rich and PG-13 and Tracy Smothers, and I just learned like from an early age I got it. I was like 6, 7, 8, but I'm like, man, Tommy Rich countlessly week after week is left bloody, always gets his fucking ass beat, but the fans love him, and he can just reach his hand in the air, and the crowd cheers for him. So like I picked up on the sympathy aspect of like they love him because he is getting his ass whooped, and he does sell it like he's dying, and he is reaching for the crowd to cheer for him, and just the little mannerisms he did I picked up on very early of like it's like almost like you're standing still and you're like standing in a crowd and you're looking around, you're like, are they not understanding they're being worked? That he's one like I'm just standing around like watching this act of like him willing the people and them cheering. And then once they cheer for him, oh, automatically, oh, now he's Superman. He's coming up, he's making the comeback. Like I put that all together very early on. So like I get to selling and Southern, like reaching for the people and begging for them to cheer and shit like that. So I think early on understanding that, then getting in the business in the South, learning from PG-13 and wrestling Wolfie D, getting to wrestle Chris Michaels, who fucking might not be a millionaire, but he fucking made millionaires. He taught
Yeah.
millionaires how to work. So like I learned from all these guys very early on as a kid, and it just always stuck with me. And I'm like, no matter where I'm at, it could be a flippy fucking company, a lucha company, whatever. Like I'm bringing the Southern, very Memphis chicken shit heel or babyface to that, and I think that's what I bring to the table.
I was just explaining to one of the guys I work with. He's an old school fan and he's an old fan, but he really never strayed away from the mainstream. And I'm like, dude, I'm trying to explain. I'm like, I got John Wayne Murdoch tonight that I'm interviewing. I'm real excited. He's one of my favorite dudes. And he's like, oh, yeah, like, what's his deal? And I'm like, he's basically like death match Tommy Rich as a heel in Memphis in like 87. And he's like, yeah. And I called to something I watched last night. And I'm still laughing about. It's you and Matt Tremont, and you come out in a bunny outfit.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knows it's you. And this is this the genesis of you as the Bunny King? Is this what
Uh,
this was about?
no. See, so I had like three or four bunnies that I raised at home and let them free roam, and I taught them how to use the litter box. Like I was very into bunnies at the time. Had a couple different breeds, and so like the Tiger King was popular. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'm the Rabbit King. So that's how then
Yeah.
they brought that outfit. So that's how they came about. But they yeah, that's funny. That and then like I did it with Bear Bronson or whatever, and it always gets a good reaction because it's always like, what the fuck did he just say? But it's like the old Ric Flair on your knees begging off. But instead of just begging off, like I feel it's funnier if I like try to make a trade. So like I'll get on me like, I'll suck your dick. Just don't fuck like I'm already on my knees. So it's like such reaction. And the guy like you play it however you want to play it on your end. But I'm on my knees. I'm like pleading with like, look, stop hitting me. I'll suck your dick type deal. It always gets over with the crowd. And also the homophobic bunch, like they're like, wow,
Right.
that's not wrestling. Fuck off when really Ric Flair was on his knees begging off to another man. He might not have been saying "I'll suck your dick," but that's the fucking gimmick. I'm just saying it. I'm just fucking over production wise. Like I will suck your dick. Like I think that gets over. I love doing shit like that. Nobody wants to make an ass out of themselves anymore. Everybody just wants to be the tough guy. I'm already tough. I'm already going out there rolling in fucking glass. I don't have to beat on my chest and be a macho man and be fucking some like tough guy. The wrestling part is tough. I can say whatever I want to make people laugh or whatever. So I enjoy doing shit like that.
It's phenomenal, man. I mean, that's some of my favorite shit that you've done is just coming out. It's like the old school, everyone would call it like the Larry Zabisco stall. Like you have an underrated stall, man. Like you are the fucking shit at just being a heel and slowing that tempo down.
Oh yeah, and people sometimes like now there is a line. Like a lot of people will use the shit I do to be fucking lazy as fuck, and the reason like the Memphis style and all that sort of gets a bad name now is because a lot of people like they'll say I'm old school, but it's just they're lazy. They
Yeah.
don't want to fucking work. They don't want to wrestle. They don't want to bump. They don't want to do nothing. So I'm old school. Less is more. I'll stall, but there's a moment where you still got to give them everything. You can give them all that Memphis shit you want, but you still got to take your lumps. You still got to, if I stall for 5 minutes, I've got to make sure I'm getting my ass whooped for 10 to make up for that five. And
Yeah.
nobody understands that.
No, they really don't. But hey, it keeps helping you. So
Yeah, that's true.
it keeps justifying your shit, man. And that's also beautiful to see you bridge that generational gap, though. Like you understand the importance of the modern style and what it brings, but you also understand, most importantly, why that old school wrestling can still work and will always work. It's kind of like when you talk to promoters, they're like, listen, the only proven promotional tactic that works is papering flyers around town, period. It just works. It's like the similar thing with wrestling. Like you have to always have a tether to the fundamentals. And that's the difference between like people like yourself that excel and, like guys that just kind of get to a very small point.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I'm like you said, it's good for me that not a lot of people caught on or get it. So like I'll fucking ride it to the bank. But like hopefully more people get that like you can be old school and not be lazy. You can tease this deathmatch thing and not be boring or just dance around it. Because I hate also these deathmatch guys that like it's deathmatch wrestling. I'm a wrestler first. Yeah, I get that. You're also it's also deathmatch is the first fucking word. So getting there and rolling the fucking glass. Like
Right.
I'm very helpful. Like I'm very understanding about things and like this has to be some wrestling too. But I'm also a guy that enjoys. I'm a pain pig and I think that's another reason me and Eric get along. Like, I just want to go out there and fucking roll in some glass, get cut up, have you enjoy it, and I'll go home. So, like, yeah, I get that we're wrestlers too, but it's fucking deathmatch wrestling, and deathmatch is the first word. So, if you're not gonna go out there and bleed, you're just gonna do some here, hold the tubes, flippy shit, get the fuck out of my face. I have no time for it.
Well, yeah, because that has just a very, very small shelf life, and you know that. But another person like yourself, and we kind of like glossed over it, but I feel like it deserves a little more conversation. Is the IWTV title match you had with Mance Night Two at the Scenic City? So much history there. Both of you guys, IWA guys, both of you guys. I mean, almost you almost say the same thing verbatim about this stuff and what we've been talking about. That match was incredible because it felt like you guys just went out there and went, "Hey, beat the fuck out of each other." All right, let's Clarksville, got it.
Oh, I think it's pretty much what it was. It was pretty much, hey, IWA, yeah, okay, cool. Like Mance is great. Mance is one of those guys that I've been able to on the sidelines watch his career from IWA to fucking just doing Indianapolis to fucking breaking out to getting with the GCW stuff CZW heavyweight champion and all this now fucking on TV and all over the world. And yeah, it's just been unbelievable and he deserves it. He's a great dude. He gets it. He fucking understands old school wrestling. Less is more, but not in a lazy way. So yeah, definitely enjoyed that match. And I mean, I was fucked up for days after because it was fucking intense. But it's what it needed to be. That's what wrestling is like. Just going out there and fighting somebody. It doesn't have to be fancy headlock takeovers and this and that and dosey dos. It could be just chops. But if you tell that story right, those chops mean something. And then we went into the ring and still gave them some wrestling with some roll ups and some back end stuff that was really good. So, yeah, I'm very happy with that match.
Yeah, I mean, when that was announced, I was like, "Oh my god, that is just me in a match right there." You know, like everything together. Another match that is very me, but not at all the same somehow. Pawcade, you and Reed Bentley against Sean Ross Sapp and Steve exclamation point. Now, how the fuck did this even come together?
I who knows? I think Chad, the guy that runs Paul Cade, was just like, "Yeah, what match can I pop the internet with?" And that was what he come up with. And good for those guys on trusting us and going out there and just letting us take the reins and get it over. And they did their part. Like they definitely are hated, and that helps. So yeah, it was fun. I have no complaints with doing that with them. Like it was easy.
I mean, it ruled, in my opinion. I thought it was amazing. Uh, And I mean, if I was gonna trust two people to carry me through a match, it probably would be you and Reed, to be honest, because you've really seen everything, especially in that like arena, that region. I feel like you would know exactly what that crowd wants at every given millisecond.
Oh yeah, yeah. Me and Reed have performed in this area so much at this point. Like we have the trust of the fans everybody in this area knows that like if the rejects are on the card, like you're gonna get your fucking money's worth. We might be banned from the building afterwards, but you're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah, that might happen. I think maybe your best run, not even run, but I guess it was a 2 day little piece of business, was Thanksgiving 2015. I love how you guys did this too. First night was no rope barbed wire. You go to double pins, and you guys did it really well too. You like did the teeter totter thing on the apron. You fall through the gimmick, and you both fucking pin each other. One of the few double pins that worked, in my opinion. And then the very next night, I believe, was a Texas death match, and on that, I believe, is when you won the title.
I think so. That whole thing with me and Reed was built so well of him stealing the belt from me. I finally beat Shane Mercer at the anniversary show, and I'm finally the champion and all this. And my best friend cashes in his contract and beats me, and then it just sets off this whole thing with me and him. And yeah, those are some of my favorite IWA matches. Were that no rope barbed wire match, and I think that was the frying pan where I did like a brain buster or something on the frying pan that was really
Yep.
cool. But yeah, I like those series of matches. I liked a lot of my Colgate matches. Like I wrestled Sammy Callahan in that building. Like there was a lot of good Colgate memories for me.
Yeah, I love that building. Like I'm an IWA fan from like the old day, not even old days. I would say like the glory days, like early 2000s into like that 2010-ish range. And then I kind of sort of fell off, got back on in 2015. So like a lot of the lore I had to like go back with you and Reed, but like man, I like you said, I can't think of a better way to execute it. And that might have been Ian's biggest strength is like he just kind of let you guys cook.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ian was good at like spots and finishes, and like they'd be long sometimes, and sometimes overdrawn, like drawn out. But he was very good at moments and shit like that. And also, he like you say, he was good at backing off and like, okay, like I know you two can wrestle, so I know it will be good. And if it wasn't, you had to answer to him. But most of the time, it was good. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, just really good. I definitely wanted to make mention of that. And, you know, you and Reed, just it's always going to be there. You know, you guys are obviously best friends and have really grown up in the business. And it was really neat to see that. And I hadn't watched that till a few days ago. And so, yeah, that was really cool. Uh, totally hitting fast forward. Another thing that I sort of discovered through my research, I guess, of this interview was the Nick Gage Invitational 2022. I think not enough people put over your performance in that tournament. You win the thing. I love how you guys had done the whole story with you and Alex Colon. You had done the singles, then you win the tag titles, then you lose the tag titles, and now you're here, you two in the finals. I just would love to know, like, what was kind of, do you have any memories of that? Because that really did stand out as I've watched a lot of your footage.
though it was a good payoff to everything because I had just come back to GCW the year prior at the last year's NGI attacking Cologne. Then we have the series of 3 matches that we had. Then we tag. We go to Japan for. I go to Japan for the first time as GCW tag champions. We work Kasai and Takeda in Japan. Beat them. We have a Corrigan Hall match that was really good. Uh, so I think that leading all the way to that next year, NGI, we've told the story now. It's all the way back to us again in the finals, which almost didn't even make it to the finals. I get cut on the shoulder with Cole, and like
Yeah.
Brett's like, hey, if you can't go, you can't go. I'm like, I'm good. Like it wasn't as bad as I originally thought it was. So I ended up finishing that. Like I enjoyed me. I think me and Big Joe first round, very fun. I think we had that rock cutout that we used or whatever that was really fun.
Yeah.
Uh, I was trying to think of what, and there was a moment me and Cologne that was sort of the finish, the pane of glass that had the tubes on it.
Yeah.
It was very like I didn't know if it was tempered. I didn't know if it was the right glass. It said it, but it looked, I don't know if it looked weird, if it was a shower door or what my thoughts were. But I was like, man, I'm doing the fucking destroyer into this. Like my ass and everything's just exposed, the back of my legs. So just doing that, like just fucking praying that you hit and you hear the sound of a tempered pane because it's got a sound to it. You know you're going to be okay. But yeah, just a fucking good cap off of a year storyline of me and Cologne.
Yeah, that was incredible, man. I mean, and that might have been, you know, I've seen you in a lot of tournaments, and that might have been, I think, your gutsy, not even maybe even gutsy, just most impressive to me because you really weathered the fucking storm. And there's sometimes that you see in these tournaments where guys, you know, they definitely gut it out, but like, you know, we all know there's certain ways people get through these things, and they don't really like do that crazy as shit. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna win it and go all the way. Let's do crazier shit each time, and it definitely shined through. This is gonna probably be a really tough question, but it's also
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know any other way to put it. How would you sort of compare your time in both, you know, no holds barred in GCW? Because I think there's similarities to each run, and obviously they're still sort of going. But there's a lot of differences.
I think so. I think that obviously Brett and Danny started GCW together, so there's definitely some I want to say promotional things that they do that are sort of the same that they might have picked off of each other. Uh, Danny Danny was a wrestler, so he has like that. He was one of the boys type understanding, whereas Brett was part of the business. And I'm not discrediting Brett, but Brett was like the furthest he got was like being a referee for CZW and stuff like that. And people treated him not right at all. People sort of treated Brett like shit when he was a referee and stuff like that. So like from going from sort of having no respect to now running GCW, like I think that has made him what like you can't talk shit to Brett because he's already had all the shit talked to him. He's already been treated like shit. Now he's running one of the top indie companies, and when he carries himself like that, he's been through it. Like whereas Danny comes from like I'm one of the boys, like I put my boots on as well, sort of take from the business. So sort of the wrestling part, Danny gets it more, if that makes sense. I think that's a difference
Absolutely.
in company. Like Danny books and promotes from a wrestling standpoint, I believe, and Brett books and runs his from a totally different standpoint and the bigger gates. And I understand say one's more successful than the other one. Like I think we all would be lying to ourselves if we would say that GCW isn't number one on the indie scene. They
Yeah.
fucking taken over. So like Brett's definitely successful. Danny just books from a different mindset and fucking yeah, I wish ICW caught that fire. But we also don't we're very deathmatch heavy. That's another thing. Brett gives you everything. We can't do that with the chains. We can't give you a Gringo Loco like match. As much as I love a
Yeah.
Gringo Loco match or a hot ass scramble, uh, ICW can't give you that because of the chains and shit like that, and the sort of the limitations that we put on ourselves. that, I mean, it sort of got us here because people love the chains, but it does hold us back on what we can present to the crowd.
I think though that that's what makes you so
Yeah,
unique.
I think I was just going to hit on that. Like, I think that ICW, oh, NHB, sorry, don't want to fucking be sued. NHB
Right?
is underground, is more of the fucking, you feel dirty almost watching it, like, oh, I shouldn't be watching this. Whereas like GCW is, I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not like grimy and stuff, but they are running fucking like serious sized venues and have production and do and offer you everything. They're not relying on death matches. Like, they started as a death match company, and they've moved beyond that and doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, and I think that that's a great way to put it. It's like almost looking at it like in a very, very simplistic way. GCW is like ECW in 99 versus NHB is like ECW in 95.
Yeah, I think that's
You know?
yeah, I think it's spot on. Without the money issues, GCW doesn't have the
Yes.
money issues.
No, clearly not.
But no, I think that's a good way to put it. And I know Brett doesn't hate death matches. He just
Yeah,
knows that like he's feeding a market that wants a little bit of everything, and he's realized his lane, and he's fucking driving in it. And I think the worst thing that Danny could have done and did early on was try to beat GCW or try to beat GCW and all this shit when we don't have to beat GCW. We're totally different. We're totally different entities. Like, we're offering straight up death match, fucking hard hitting, like match after match of fucking death match wrestling. The GCW offers, you can go see a little bit of everything, and they do a little bit of everything great too. I love their fucking scrambles. There's not a company that can't put on a scramble better than GCW.
100%. And I think as well another part of that is so different is like, an NHB show, it had no problem under 2 hours, right? And I'll tell you, as an older guy, I love that.
Yeah, yeah, show, yeah. Those marathon shows are, especially when your main event, it definitely
Oh,
sucks.
I can't imagine. I feel like the best friend to a top guy on the independents is like at latest right before intermission. It's like, please.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, outside of what we've discussed, I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else going on. Obviously, 100 is number one. We already discussed that. At this point in your career, you've been around a while. What are some of the things that still are out there that you've yet to do that are on your list before you hang it up?
Oh, really? Nothing. Honestly, like, and I've said this on a couple podcasts. After going to Japan the first time, uh, for GCW, after doing that, that was the goal for me. It was go to Japan, wrestle Kasai or Takeda or both, and that was that. Like, and I did that. I went to Japan on my first Japan tour. I wrestled Takeda and Kasai multiple times. Went on to have wrestled them fucking play like every tour I've ever went to Japan. I've had at least one or two like matches with Takeda each tour. So like I've done it now. So like yeah, really I have no goals left that I haven't accomplished. Uh, I think it's now just seeing what comes up. If there's something that pops, oh, I want to do that, then I'll add that to the list. But right now, it's just enjoying what I have done and enjoying the new crop of kids and just getting to wrestle. Like, getting to wrestle Steve Carino was fucking sick as a deathmatch guy.
Oh, dude.
That opportunity doesn't get thrown your way much, and it did mine. I'm gonna get to wrestle him again, like in a tag match. So those were like goals that were like I didn't really have those as goals. They just fell into my lap and like, oh, that's sick. So I think it's now just taking everything as it comes. There's no real goals, but if it happens, great. But yeah, I have no real direction.
did want to mention this now that we have some time. One of the weirdest matches I've ever seen in my life was you and Danny DeManto in Red Bank, Tennessee.
Oh, is this where we switched personas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Complete with you coming out with mittens. How, please tell me how this came to be.
So, yeah, speaking of like the first time I went to Japan, so the whole my whole loop was I went to England with GCW. Come back a few days later, might have been 4 or 5. I go to Japan with GCW. So like back to back England, Japan. I was supposed to come back from Japan to GCW, get home, pack, leave the next day, go to Atlantic City. I think it was supposed to be me and Cologne against Drew Parker and Rena, maybe, or Drew Parker and somebody in a tag match. Leave
Yeah.
Atlantic City, fly to California. From California, go to Australia for ICW. The fucking Japan show. I think it was one of the last Japan shows of the tour. I like banged my head with Takeda, fucked up my eye. I get home, I'm like, I can't fucking go. So I cancel out of the GCW show in AC, and I called Danny. I'm like, I can't make Australia or the California show. So in Australia, Danny does, well, I'm going to do Danny Wayne Murdoch, or I'm going to act like you. So he does it there. So then it's like, it gets over. So I'm like, what if fucking in Red Bank, we do Danny Murdoch against fucking John Wayne Demento, however you want to put it. Johnny Demento or something like that. And he was like, "Yeah, that's great." So that's pretty much how it came to be. It was me missing a show in Australia, him pivoting and like, okay, I'll play as John Wayne, and then we just fucking made a match out of it.
And it ruled. The match is amazing.
Yeah, it was
Uh
very fun. It's very fun to do. It's what was funny was is like in the back, like before the show, I'm like, should I come to the back and take everything off to put this singlet on? I'm like, it's funnier if I put the singlet over my shorts and
yeah.
over my clothes because it's like, why didn't this idiot just fucking? It's like I just literally went back there, threw it on, and it looks weird. I'm like, this is funnier. It's little shit like that that I like. Of like, you couldn't even take off your shorts to put on the singlet. No, like, why would I? It's shit like that that's funny to me.
And like just the little things of like how he's like talking to your wife and she is like, what the fuck is even happening?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny.
So that was tremendous. I think that's all I got for you, man. Where can everyone find you on social media? Any other pertinent plugs you have?
John Wayne Murdoch on pretty much everything. I don't really have anything to plug. I was gonna have shirts at the Cat Dog Reject shirt for sale at NHB 100. Unfortunately, the blanks didn't get there in time, so I will not have shirts at NHB. But they're still getting made. So just hit me up, and then I can just ship them or whatever. So if you want to hit me up for shirts, I have some of those coming. I know I'm doing a whatnot sale with Danny Sunday at 7 p.m. I believe. So bring your monies and come check that out. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else to plug. I mean, check out NHB 100 coming up Saturday.
Absolutely. IWTV, of course. And yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure and an honor. And everybody else, until next time, have a good one.